Ron Paul represents a threat to the establishment, and that the media considers itself the establishment, and that as a result, we can say it's almost an unwritten cultural thing that the media would discount Ron Paul, call him wacky, not give him any respect. But it seems to be at times more systematic than that. And in this particular case, is it so? Do they just glom onto the first one and all start repeating it? Or is there a pattern here that goes further? No, it doesn't matter whether it's a conspiracy or not, because you still have to do what I've done, which is to follow the money, to figure out, let's be objective. I don't care what the outcome is. Let's just take the journey and study the information. So here's the information. This information is the news media. And then here are the asset managers that control most of the equity in the media. Let's see, to get that information, we want to look at, I did a breakout of all the shares of Blackrock. Of all the shares of Blackrock. But let's see if I can figure this out. So here is all of our investors with positions in the media, and they added up to about $78 billion. That's right. This is a lot of money. This money basically controls the media. Then there are the actual owners and the investor groups inside of each media company, and they own sort of an equivalent amount in terms of political influence and everything. So the people that own the media are exactly the same people. These are all the government contractors here. And I have all of this in Microtopia if you can't see it. Whoop. Here we go. So let's just zoom in. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Okay, so let's see. I have to put the scroll lock on. Oh, there we go. So here we have Lockheed Martin at $16 billion, and each of these companies exports more than they sell to the military. Or similar. Well, they get the government to market for them, and they sell similar amounts in their sales overseas to what they sell to the government. And these are all defense contractors. All the primary contractors of the government are defense. These are all government contractors, not just defense. And look how defense takes up. That's you. That's what you're doing as a taxpayer. You're buying with your tax money this much stuff in armaments. And we have 4 times the military budget of other countries of our size. So we have all these huge taxes on the economy. So how are these neocons? Okay, so we wanted you to then see how it all breaks out. Let's see, are there any more? Okay, there we go. I think we're getting close. Here it is, surf and turf. That's the one I want, surf and turf. And we need to go to home. There. So here we see that the military companies, these are the investment levels into military companies by these funds, and here's their investments into media companies, and they're very similar, and percent of this group. Okay. So the fact is that this group also has a lot of control over Bank of America. So basically, if we go back to the media sheet, these companies are the companies on top of the media food chain here. They're on top of it, and the way I depict that is this thing here. Okay, so this is the top 100 billionaires in the United States, basically. And then, which I describe as a small group of rich people. You can draw the line at 10, 100, 1,000. Each small group has different levels of influence and agendas. And then under that, we have these 6 ultra powerful companies that basically control all the stock and vast amounts of the world's resources. I mean, we're talking about a portfolio altogether of around $14 trillion. And that's all private. Actually, that's not true. These companies are a mix of public and private. They're probably all public by the time they get this big. I think State Street might still be private. And the implications is that they probably have impact on $50 trillion worth of assets. So these are definitely companies you wouldn't want collapsing, and none of them did. Then below that you have corporations. Now this one company, Blackrock, they got all the contracts from the government for the administering bailout, mortgage, everything. They got everything. They have become the most powerful company. They're no longer 3.345, they're 3.9 now. And the guy who runs Blackrock is a story unto himself. So here's Blackrock, 3.9 trillion assets under management, 9 trillion that these assets support. These are the deals that they did through their history. They went public with PNC around 99. Then they bought State Street Research Management, which is a smaller group than State Street Corporation. Merrill Lynch had a 49.5% stake in them. Capital Management, Barclays, and they got involved with Bank of America because of the Merrill Lynch deal, but I haven't studied that one yet. They bought Barclays. So these are different groups in addition to BlackRock itself that are active. And here's this Larry Fink guy, and here's what's very interesting. This guy Cohen says he's like the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. And here's a guy who says, you see a lot of concentration on the financial industry of people who are more connected than brilliant. Okay, so at any rate, I'm going to release all this in greater detail later. But what we see is these companies control the entire military-industrial complex and the entire economic system of the West. They are asset managers. They don't own the money, but they run the money. They invest the money. They choose where the world's wealth goes, these 6 companies. Okay, so they have a vested interest in the outcome having the best return to their investors, rather cold-bloodedly, which is fine. But how could that be that we embark on a spending spree on the military and corrections and maintain high levels of poverty, which leads to high levels of corrections required, high levels of obesity and lack of health and lack of educated workforce? It's all a bad business, the neocon vision. So there's only one way this neocon vision would work, and that is if the U.S. uses its current military to pop open country after country to let flow in Western companies. So this form of invasion capitalism wouldn't really pencil out, except you're denying that country access to that country to Russia, China, Iran. So this map here gives you a pretty good idea, because this is all of the U.S.'s arms sales. And this gives you a pretty good idea of who in Africa deals with us. Now, these other countries last year, none of them bought their weapons from us. And South Africa maintains self-sufficiency. So in the new world that's going to emerge, where emerging states grow in their economies and overtake us by 2025 completely, we could be in a much better position if we built up our economy. So what's going to, so at any rate, that seems to be what they must be doing. They must be thinking they're going to keep punching the military and taking, they need, this is the scary part. You know why they, like the Allen Ginsberg song goes, he goes, they wanted to bomb. They needed to bomb. Somebody had a bomb. Well, they did need to bomb. The reason they need to bomb is because this whole thing doesn't pencil out unless you continue invading countries. It's like Hitler. Hitler could not stop his juggernaut once he unleashed it. He had to keep invading countries, otherwise the whole Nazi house of cards would have fallen apart. I hate to, you know, I know that Glenn Beck is, everybody ridicules him, but it's hard not to make that comparison, because this will not work in a game of Risk, with Brazil, Russia, and China unless you keep popping countries, because your economic system is basically flatlining while theirs is growing like crazy. Alrighty, sirs, thank you very much, and good night and good luck.